Hi, I'm Julia Wester, and I believe that visibility is my superpower. I believe that visibility and transparency can solve problems, or at least point you in the right direction. And I believe that focusing on those things can make you better advocates for your teams. So I want to talk about what is visibility and what is transparency. They're the same thing, right? Well, visibility is about having information that helps you make decisions, and transparency is making that information available to other people. It's like food manufacturers have information and they put the labels on the box so that you have transparency into that. So visibility and transparency are two sides of the same coin, but not exactly the same thing. It's positional. My ability to get data and have visibility lets me be transparent to you, and then that transparency gives you visibility so you can make decisions. So why should you care? Well, you have problems, right? So you need solutions, and solutions are often going to involve data and being transparent with that data. Not doing so can lead us to the wrong problem. So, like water fills all the spaces around it, our mind will fill gaps of information with assumptions, and those assumptions are going to be based on our biases that we hold. So if that happens, we're often going to find the wrong problems and we're going to put in the wrong solutions. So we need to have data, have visibility, so we can find the right problem, and then we can put the right solution in. And then when we do that, we need to have continued visibility so that we can see if that solution is still fixing our problems. We have to gain visibility. So in a nutshell, gaining visibility turns I feel sentiments into I know realities. Your gut instinct probably works really well for you, but people aren't going to change their decisions and their behaviors based on your gut instinct alone. So I had a team about 5 years ago, my first team, and we felt like firefighters. We were getting emergency after emergency, and after a while, it didn't feel like there were any true emergencies anymore. We were busy all the time, so I needed data. I implemented a cost of delay, and we began to turn that feeling into knowledge. We had 12 emergencies for an 8-person team during the shortest month of the year, not counting our regular work. It was unsustainable. So I had data, I had visibility, but I couldn't fix this problem on my own. It wasn't just a perception problem. I had to be transparent so that I could work with the requesters to fix that problem because they needed to change their behaviors. So transparency allowed us to work together. When they saw that, they obviously knew there was a problem, and that they started to see then that their actions caused their own pain. So the transparency of that data started to make them be partners in the solution with me. So transparency equals good. Unless you're sharing credit card information, then that's bad. Don't be transparent about that. But transparency, a lack of it, isn't just net neutral. Not having transparency can cause distrust problems because distrust often comes from a bunch of assumptions. So it can create unhappy customers if you're not transparent. I had a situation about 1.5 years ago with another team, and I came into that situation, I had a very irate business unit. They were angry, they thought we added no value to the org, and they thought that we were the slowest team they had ever seen in their life. And I knew I had a good team. So what was the problem? I had to get some visibility. I needed to start inspecting the problem. So I looked at what I knew. I knew I had people that were dedicated to this team's work. I knew that the stuff that they were asking for was very large. Even with great developers, it would take weeks to accomplish. So I figured, well, they may not have enough visibility into what we're doing. So I employed a policy of extreme honesty. Anything about everything that affected our relationship with them, I told them about what we were doing, what we weren't doing, and why we weren't doing it. And then they needed to see how the progress of the work we were doing was going. They couldn't wait weeks, obviously, and get an update. They craved the incremental visibility, so we reduced our batch size, upped our demo frequency, and gave them the incremental transparency that they really, really craved. And the key was that incremental transparency. Now, we have a very trusting, very happy relationship with this business unit. They praise us all the time. And in the end, it was the visibility. They had to see to believe, and they had to believe to trust us. So the takeaways is visibility or data turns I feel into I know. Transparency can attack perception problems and solve them by replacing assumptions with data. And I want to thank you for coming to see this, and if you don't do anything else after this conference, go get more visibility, be more transparent, and you might come back next year with fewer problems, or at least different ones. Thanks.